I've got Steve Wells in the studio with me today, which is wonderful because Steve is one of the co-founders of the Simple Energy Technique. And I want to find out all about this, Steve, because I actually know a little bit about EFT. Can you explain how Simple Energy Techniques differ from Emotional Freedom Technique and where it all came from?
Okay, well, SET actually came from EFT. Originally, my colleague and I, Dr. David Lake, we trained with Gary Craig and we were using EFT, and EFT is a fantastic technique, and we experimented with that technique and we found some simplifications. So that simplifications of that have become what we call SET.
So you've actually made it easier?
Essentially, we've made it easier. We've made it accessible for people to use in their daily life a lot easier. EFT is a wonderful technique and the results of it are essentially the same as SET. It's just that most people find this approach much easier to use in their daily life.
So what does it involve? What do we do?
Okay, well, just as with EFT, it involves a simple process of stimulating acupressure points. So you're tapping on these acupressure points, and if you want to target an emotional issue, you focus on that emotional issue while you're tapping. The good news is we've found that you can even get benefits from the tapping without having to focus on the issue.
Show me the points then. What are the points that we need to use?
Okay, the starting point is at the start of the eyebrow. If you go in between your two eyebrows and then you go towards one of them and just tap there with two fingers right at the start, and just tap hard enough to feel it but not hard enough to hurt.
Any number of times?
Any number of times that you like that feels comfortable, but most people are going to tap maybe 5 to 10 times.
Okay, but no bruising?
No bruising, no. Not necessary. You don't have to have pain to have a game with this technique. So then, yes, you're following me. The side of the eye, end of the eyebrow, out on the bony area on the outside.
Not on the eyebrow itself.
No, you don't have to tap in on the eye and hurt yourself. Just tap on the outside there. And then under your eye, at the top of your cheek there. Yeah. Right, the top of that meaty area of the cheek.
Yeah.
And under the nose, in the hollow under the nose in the midline.
Yeah.
Under your mouth, in the hollow under your mouth in the midline. And the next point's just under the collarbone where it comes into the centre here. So if you go to that U in your throat, at the base of your throat.
That sort of hollow bit.
Yep, and then pick one of the bony knobs on either side and just go slightly underneath that and just tap there.
That's nice.
It's a good point for you, that one. And under your arm, side of the body, ladies about middle of the bra band. For gents, most gents, about level with the nipple on the side of the body. Yep, just tap in there at 90 degrees. And then there's some points on the hand, on the side of the thumb, level with the base of the nail. So if you come in from the side and you're just tapping on the side of the thumb.
2 fingers?
Yep, 2 fingers is better than 1. Just gets more happening.
Yeah.
And then on the index finger, level with the nail there.
Could I miss the point in some way?
Well, there's a lot more, we say there's a lot more forgiveness in this technique than there is in the average person. It actually doesn't matter as much as people think.
Oh, okay.
Although these points come from acupressure and acupuncture, they don't seem to have the same rules as acupressure and acupuncture have. So you can tap around the point and you can often still get results. Now we're tapping on the middle finger, and you can also tap on this ring finger. In EFT they don't use this point, and officially the point is on the bottom, but we find it works just as well to tap here.
Okay, and it's easier, isn't it?
It is, and the little finger, and then on the bottom of the hand in that meaty area down the bottom in the karate chop point.
And just 2 fingers too?
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't have to be thinking of anything?
Well, you don't have to, but you can. If you're upset, you can use this to calm yourself down. If you have an issue that you want to focus on, you can focus on all the aspects of that upset you and tap on the points as you do. And we found that you can just tap on the points and just relax yourself. And on a daily basis, it seems like your good energy tends to rise and your stress levels tend to go down.
So do I have some kind of emotional response? Like now I've done that. Is something supposed to happen, or is it something that grows over time?
Most people feel more relaxed after doing it. Some people feel a surge of energy. A lot of people will yawn, they'll sigh, they may feel a little shake in themselves, but most people just feel a pretty good sense of well-being.
And if it's something to do like with an emotional release, say that I'm scared of public speaking and that public speaking fear diminishes, do I cry or release the emotion in some way?
Some people will cry because it's very intense for them, and the tapping seems to facilitate the moving of the negative emotion through our system, so that a negative emotion that's stuck tends to move through, and as it moves through, sometimes there'll be a little bit of a release, but this tends to ease that feeling. So some people, as I say, will access a feeling, but usually that's not overwhelming. If it is overwhelming, we encourage them to continue the tapping as they go through that until that feeling shifts.
So what's the advantage of using this over the other techniques like EFT?
All right, well, essentially the results are the same. The advantage that a lot of people find with SET is that it's easier to use, and you don't have to memorise complex setup statements. In EFT, they use particular statements to set up particular problems and focus in on them. We found that those really are not necessary. You can get the result just by tapping on the points and focusing on the issue. A lot of people who have learned TFT and EFT will say, TFT, thought field therapy, for those who haven't learned about this. That was the original precursor of EFT, and then SET was descended from EFT. They will say, oh, well, what if you have a block? Well, we've found that if you have a block, you can just focus on that block while you tap on the points. And instead of having to create certain statements or come up with clever thinking, whatever is the next problem to treat, you just focus on that and tap on the points.
Now then, do I have to do all the ones on the face? Because I know for me, if I was out and standing in the supermarket queue, that would make me embarrassed, but I could do the bits on my hand without anyone noticing.
Well, not only can you do that, Dr. David Lake, my colleague, has come up with a way of doing this by using the thumb to stimulate the finger points. So you let the thumb drop down onto the index finger, and then on the middle finger, and then the ring finger, and the little finger. Now this...
tapping quite quickly, huh?
Well, you can tap slowly or quickly, whatever feels comfortable for you. Once you get used to this, you can do this anywhere. You can be sitting at the table or in the boardroom, and you can be tapping on these points with your hands under the table without anybody knowing that you're doing that, and you're relieving yourself of the stress of that situation.
So do I do both hands at the same time?
You can do, if you want. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Once you get used to this, a lot of people will find that tapping on both hands is actually tends to do a little bit more.
And do I need to go through in a certain order, or can I just randomly tap?
This is the great thing about SET. You don't have to tap in a particular sequence. If you find that 3 or 4 of the points feel good for you, you can tap on those 3 or 4 points. Even if you've forgotten some of the points, you can tap on the ones that you remember. Seems that this system is all interconnected, so that it doesn't really matter. As long as you do enough stimulation, you get the energy moving through your system.
And what kind of results have you been getting? I want to know what it's going to do for me.
Okay, well, all of the same results that the energy techniques generally are getting, you can achieve with this technique. So people are overcoming phobias, they're overcoming fears and blocks. I've used it...
What do you mean by a block?
Well, you can be blocked from moving forward. So if you're anxious about presenting to...
So you mean an emotional kind of block?
Oh, yeah. Well, some people, for example, they need to do public presentations, but they feel so anxious that they avoid those situations.
Okay, yes.
So I see them as being blocked in that way. And so once you take the emotion out of that situation, you can go forward and achieve.
And does it help you with relationship problems and
Oh,
anxiety in other areas and illness?
Oh, yeah. I tell people there's only a couple of things that I've learned in all of my learning of psychology that actually work at home, and this is one of them. I use this technique, my wife uses it, we've used it with all of our kids to help them to overcome their nighttime fears, some of the issues that they've had at school where they've been emotionally upset, to get over a reaction to being yelled at by a teacher, for example, which could have stayed with them for years.
Yes.
And it's so wonderful to be able to give them that gift.
So is there any age that we can't use this, or can we use it with really, really tiny people?
Well,
Childlike.
you can certainly do it for children, but if you're an adult, the best thing to do if you have a little baby is to do it on yourself, because they're so keyed into your own energy that when you relax, they will tend to relax as well.
And how long do I tap for? Like, I'm just instinctively sitting here tapping.
I know, that's what we find. It's so easy to do that people just tend to do it. And so when we run our workshops, we have people doing this tapping the whole time. And the people who do the tapping the whole time tend to go away with more benefits than those that don't do it.
All these people that you want to use it, how do they find out more about it?
Okay, they can go to our website, simpleenergytechniques.com, simpleenergytechniques.com, and they can download a free special report from there and give them the entree into the technique.